Okay, let's talk about the behind the scenes on the Log Horizon and Yuri on Ice videos that have come out so far this month. So the Log Horizon video, if you watch the 3 hour behind the scenes making of or whatever videos that me and the commentaries that me and Devu do on my main videos, you may have seen this coming because it was literally inspired by us watching my Log Horizon video and commentating on it. And in that commentary, I talk about how uh, the way that my older videos were structured was kind of like me dumping every possible thought I had on a show in one video, but doing so without fleshing any of them out. I just kind of would like rattle through a whole bunch of points. And if you haven't seen the show, then those would all be confusing. And even more so than that, like even if you have seen the show, the way I would just like burn through things was kind of confusing. Like you really had to deconstruct, look at what I said and process it for extra time. I think to fully get the points I was making. Sometimes, even me, like look watching those videos back, I get confused sometimes, and have to like really think about what I just said, because back then I wasn't really writing for video. I was writing these as if they were text posts that would be, read slowly and more carefully. Whereas when I delivered them, it's a 20-minute video where I'm just rattling through points. So I thought that some of the things I said in the Log Horizon video would have been better served as full videos in their own right. Particularly some of the parts where I talk about specific scenes, like the Lanessia scene. So I decided to take that part of the old Log Horizon video, which is a video that's not very available right now. The original Log Horizon video, there's a version of it set to video game footage that's on my channel, and there was originally a link to a more edited version on Dailymotion. It got taken off of Dailymotion. It's only up on Google Drive. I think it's only in the archive, the Patreon archive that you guys all have access to, and even then, the edited version's not that edited. It's from the period where I was just kind of throwing as much footage in as, just, like, barely relevant footage for the most part. So, I thought this is a video that's kind of dead to me in a way. Like, I'm not satisfied with the writing of it. I'm not satisfied with the presentation. It's not that available on YouTube. So rather than trying to resurrect that old video, I'd rather take those points and, make newer, more fleshed out and better videos about the points I made in that one. I don't know if I'll end up covering everything I said in that old video, but this one I thought was a good way to like take a look at one moment in Log Horizon that speaks to a lot of its strengths. So yeah, that's how it came about. I pretty much, like, not long after recording that commentary, I set about doing this video. I was kind of in a hurry to get it done because RadCon was coming, which I'll be talking about more in a bit. But, yeah, because I wanted to just rewatch the whole show, but instead I only ended up rewatching, like, the 3 or 4 episodes leading up to that moment. And I can remember the show pretty well, but I would have liked... watching those episodes in isolation made me realize that Log Horizon is definitely a show that's better to watch with full investment. It's better to, like, see what's so great about it. Be endeared to the characters as you're going through, as opposed to, like, jumping in at a random point and trying to catch up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It was a fun video to write. I did it pretty quick and handed it off to Devu, who luckily had already seen all of Log Horizon, so it was a fairly painless editing process, I think. So then came this Yuri on Ice video. Now, I had a plan for the month of January that I was going to escalate the level of content on my main channel, I was going to double it, basically. I was going to have both 4 analysis videos edited by the Devu, as well as, a weekly vlog, a monthly vlog, and different analytical videos that I would edit myself. And some of those things are still going to happen. But what happened was that RadCon happened. It was a week and a half that I, had a bunch of people at my house recording a whole bunch of unrelated stuff not to do with my channel. And I guess I just had forgotten how much time that was going to take, and the fact that I wasn't going to be able to work on all these other projects I had ideas for. So yeah, that whole plan kind of fell apart. But the one thing we did get recorded before RadCon was the Digibros Discuss Yuri on Ice, which was the concept for the monthly vlog. And the reason for this particular video is because my brother Victor had watched Yuri on Ice and he really wanted to talk about it. Um, my brother Victor watches a lot more of the currently running shows and a lot more of the popular stuff, and he will often, if he really likes a show, he'll encourage me to make a video about it. Like Mob Psycho, that video was pretty much his idea. He like told me I should watch the show and like what about it he thought was interesting, and I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. With Yuri on Ice, it was kind of the same story, but I thought, well, we'll do a discussion video about it, and we'll set up the set and everything, and it'll be cool. Now, the original plan was that I was going to edit this. I was going to give it pretty minimal editing, and it probably would not have been marked on Patreon. Like, I don't typically mark vlogs and long-form content like that. I typically would just let ad revenue take care of that. And with this video, we were going to try and start using mid-roll ads, which some of you will notice there are mid-roll ads on the video. And the reason for that is that Mother's Basement really like woke me up to how powerful mid-roll ads are, because like I approach YouTube with the mindset of like an artist. Like I see it as I'm making this content for me first, and people pay for it because they like it. But I do need to make a lot of money. Like part of the goal here is to make enough money that I'll be able to sustain myself and to help pay my friends and be able to do, whatever I want on the side. The more money the main channel content makes, the more it allows me to, work on passion projects and stuff. Like if one video could fund a whole month, then everything else can be whatever I want it to be, as opposed to having to make 4 videos that all are like appealing to the broadest audience possible. So I've never relied on ad revenue very much because I just thought, there's too often that it doesn't work. There's too often that, monetization will get disabled, although we've mostly gotten around that these days. There's too often that it just doesn't, make a whole lot of money. If you don't get a lot of views on the video, then you're not going to make anything. But then Mother's Basement, he put these mid-roll ads in his big Sword Art Online video, and he made, I don't know if I should say this, but that video had just over 1 million views, and he made $4,000 off of ad revenue, which was unheard of to me, because the way that we've always calculated it is that 1,000 views is $1 of ad revenue. That's been very consistent for me. Like, if a video is much longer and people watch the whole thing, it can be more than that because YouTube does pay you for retention time as not just views. But usually 1,000 views is $1. But he rolled out a video that's 40 minutes long and had 3 mid-roll ads, and each ad doubles the amount that he made on it, and then also there's the retention time. So it was a ridiculously profitable video. And when I looked at that, I thought, I'm literally throwing money away by not doing this. Like, it's one thing to say, who needs a few extra dollars? I've got my Patreon. It's a whole other thing to say, like, I could be quadrupling what I make, and, like, it would be ludicrous not to do that. Especially if I'm going to talk about, if I'm going to make a long-form video that's, about something relevant. And then I also, upon him telling me this, because I've had ad blocker on my shit forever, I don't look at ads. After he told me about mid-roll ads, I realized that, like, everyone on YouTube uses them. I realized that Red Letter Media uses them in their Half in the Bag episodes. And the way that we did the ad rolls in Yuri on Ice video is exactly the same way it's done in Half in the Bag. Someone told me that, like, H3H3 has them, like, every fucking 3rd minute or something. And I was just like, wow, this is a whole world I didn't know about. Of course, I encourage people to use ad blocker on my videos, especially if you're a patron. I hate ads, and I would never want to watch them. I just think it would be, like, silly of me not to use them at all when it's basically free money, that I'm just squandering. Like, money that I could use, that I need, I'm trying to make more money on Patreon and on YouTube, so, like, why would I not do this? So, you know, it's not something I want to make a habit of. I don't want it to be in like every major video I do. But if a video is long enough, then it's like, you know, why not? Like, you can sit through a couple ads in a fucking 45-minute video, um, you know, and it'll benefit me greatly. And even if you know, and the only people who are going to sit through them are people who are watching on mobile or don't care. So, yeah. Now that again, that video would not have even been marked on Patreon because I am still very selective about my patron posts. I still even, you know, no matter how much I need money, I don't want to patron random shit or videos that I don't feel are up to the quality standard that that I use on Patreon, which is the highly edited videos. But in this case, what happened was RadCon was starting, and so I couldn't edit the Yuri on Ice video myself, so I had to hand it off to the Devu. Now, what that means is that, you know, I could have probably paid him based on ad revenue if he hadn't put that much effort into it, but of course he went all out and made it like a fully edited video. Like, he probably spent more time editing this than he does most of my regular content, because he put like tons of clips throughout a 45-minute video and did all these little editing jokes and stuff. He really went all out on it. So at that point it was like there's no way I could not patron this, because, you know, not only is it a higher quality video, but Devu has to be paid for this level of effort. And then I also wanted to pay Victor for, you know, his contribution. So yeah, I marked it on Patreon, gave 40% to Devu, gave like, what was it, 45% of the other 60% to Victor. So yeah, everyone involved got paid, and that's why it's on Patreon, even though it has the mid-roll ads, and even though it's not the kind of video I would post on here normally. But it's just that I had a week and a half rather, where I could not work on main channel videos. So it was like, this was what I had, this had to be marked. And yeah, that's kind of what it came down to. So yeah, I've got more videos planned to come out by the end of the month. Maybe 2. There's definitely going to be 1. Hopefully I could, you know, if we could squeeze out a second one, that'd be cool. But it did not, the month did not go the way I had planned. So hopefully February will be what January was meant to be, where I sort of really jump into hyperdrive on having stuff on the main channel, because I really want to expand its focus and make it, you know, a channel where there's more going on, and sort of try to grow my audience a bit more. Anyways, what else did I want to say? There was something else in there. 50 minutes. Oh yeah, RadCon. You know, I did a lot of stuff during RadCon, and most of it's free. Most of it's with other people. Most of it's collaborative. So, you know, that's part of why this had to, like, I needed this money for this thing, because everything I did at RadCon essentially will not pay me anything. You know, like, it's almost all projects with other people. It's all either going on the Procrastinators channel, or on one of Jesse's channels, or on, you know, on anyone else's channel but mine. I don't think there's a single thing from RadCon that'll be on my main channel. The Plebe and the Weeb we're gonna put on Jesse's channel. You know, he edits it. He is the one who makes the most money from it. You know, the Kickstarter, I basically don't see a dime of the Kickstarter. You know, like, it's all in my bank account, but I'm using it all on both funding the project itself, and then whatever's left goes to Jesse, because it's, you know, again, he's the one putting the most effort in, and he needs money a lot more than I do. He just came home to his basement completely flooded. After a week and a half, he comes home, and, like, his basement, where his room is, I mean, his room completely flooded. Like, 6 inches of water ruined a bunch of stuff. So yeah, he needs the money more than I do. So that's why I'm, you know, sending him the Kickstarter money. But as for me, yeah, that's why I ended up having to patron mark this Yuri on Ice video. I don't even know if that's much of a controversial decision. I got one comment who was mad that there were mid-roll ads on the video in spite of it being a patron video, but, like, you know, it was originally supposed to be more of a mid-roll ad video than a Patreon video. It wasn't meant to have this level of effort put into it, but yeah, that's what I ended up with. So hopefully you'll enjoy all the free rad content when it starts coming out. If you're not following my playlist, every video featuring Digibro on my main channel, you should be, because that's where like 90% of my stuff gets posted, because I would say probably less than 10% of my content's on the main channel. And follow the Procrastinators. There's a RadCon 2 playlist on that channel as well, so that's a good way to keep up with that stuff. Alright, that's it for this video.